Hi class, in this video we're going to do number 12 on your chapter 4 applicable homework or mind type homework. So here's the question. It says, consider the market for pens. Suppose the increased medical concern over lead pencil has led school to steer away from pencil use in favor of pen. Moreover, the price of plastic, an important input in pen production, has increased considerably. Now, on this following graph over here, we need to label or indicate the effect of the two events have on the demand supply for pens. So the first factor or first change is that concern over the lead has led school to steer away from pencil use in favor for pen use. Now, if you go over the list of factors that can cause a change in our demand curve, taste is one of them. So when the school taste for pen change or for pencil decrease and for pen increase, this will lead to an increase of demand curve. So we're going to take our demand curve and shift it to the right. So remember, if it's increasing, you're shifting to the right. If it's decreasing, you shift it to the left. So in this case, it's increased, so we're going to shift to the right over here. So from D1 to D2. And then for a second part over here, the price of plastic, an important input in pen production, has increased considerably. Now, the price of input is a factor that can shift our supply curve. And then when the input price getting more expensive, that means the company cost of production will increase. So company profit margin become lower, and they will produce less of the good. So higher input costs, lower supply. So for lower supply over here, we're going to shift our supply curve to the left. So if it's increase, you shift to the right, like demand curve over here. If it's decrease, you shift to the left, like supply curve over here. So left decrease supply, and then right increase demand. Now for next part, so label scenario 2 by shifting supply demand curve in the same way you did on scenario 1 graph. So we do the same thing. We're going to shift our supply curve to the right, and then demand curve to the supply curve to the left and demand curve to the right. Now, both of these scenarios over here, you have a decrease of supply and an increase of demand. But the difference is, in scenario 1, your supply curve changed more than demand curve. And then in scenario 2, you see how its supply curve changes a little bit, and the demand curve changed by a little bit more. So demand curve in scenario 2 changed more than supply curve. And then let's see what the question is asking for. So use the result to answer both scenario 1 and scenario 2 graph to complete the following table. So in scenario 1, let's look at our price and quantity. Go back up. So in scenario 1, over here, so before the change, the equilibrium was at 5 and 5. With the change, our new equilibrium is at 4.5 for quantity and 6.5 for price. So price increased to 6.5. But quantity actually decreased to 4.5. So we can say that price has increased, quantity has decreased. And then let's look at the second one. The second scenario, 5.5 was the old equilibrium, and then this 5.5 and 5 is old equilibrium. The new equilibrium is 5.5 and 6.5. So price and quantity both increased. So let's go back and finish this. So price increased, quantity increased. And then when you combine these two scenarios, so in price 1, price definitely, for price in both scenarios, price definitely increased. But for the second scenario, the quantity for scenario 1 is increased, scenario 2 actually decreased. So the combined effect is that we don't know, we cannot be for sure. So it's undetermined. Now, the reason why it's like this, you had to think of supply demand curve separately. So when you shift your supply curve to the left, so when supply decrease, if supply decrease, your quantity will go down, and then your price will go up. And then for demand, if your demand increase, your price will go up, your quantity will go down. Quantity will go up. So let me repeat this. Okay, so when supply decrease to the left, your price will increase and then quantity will decrease. When demand increase to the right, your price will go up, quantity will go up. So when you combine them together, price will definitely go up because either one will cause a price increase. But your supply curve is pushing the price lower. I mean, your supply curve is pushing the quantity lower, but your demand curve is pushing the quantity higher. So what happens with quantity over here? You have one force pushing lower, one force pushing higher. So the combined effects that we cannot be for sure. Without knowing which one change more, we don't know for sure what the end result is for quantity. So that's why the answer for the last part over here should be undetermined. And then the last part question says true or false. When both supply demand curve shift, you can always determine the effect on price and quantity without knowing the magnitude of the shift. Well, that's false, because we need to know. For price, that's fine, but for quantity over here, we need to know which one shift more. So this statement is actually false. All right, let's grade it now. Cross fingers. We're good, and we are good. Okay, all right. So that's how you do number 12 on chapter 4. Don't get discouraged if you get it wrong first couple of times. You see how I got only 3 points on first try, so I missed 1 point too. That was this question over here. So give it a try, and then if you have any question, let me know. Okay, thank you very much.